was 6, I had the best Halloween costume of all. You know what I was? I was a dust ball. A dust ball! You know how I did that costume? I put double-sided tape all over me and I rolled around the living room. I came into the kitchen, my mom said, "What are you doing? There's dust all over you." I said, "Yeah, it's my Halloween costume." She said, "How'd you do that?" I said, "I put double-sided tape on myself and rolled around the living room." She said, "Don't you dare tell anybody that. I vacuum this house quite often." So anyway, I went out with my orange pumpkin. You know, you guys got the plastic orange pumpkin for Halloween. You collect candy in it. I collected so much candy, I came home. I was so excited to eat it, but my mom said, "Okay, Randy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump all the candy out on the kitchen table, and then I'm going to separate it into piles. One pile, the inedible stuff, we're going to put in the garbage. And the other pile, very small percentage of it is edible. You can have one piece a day until it runs out." And I said, "What? Did you just say garbage and candy in the same sentence?" And I scooped up as much candy as I could into my arms, and I ran into the living room, and I ran behind my secret hiding place, which was the green corduroy chair, and I started stuffing the candy in my face like this. And a Tootsie Roll must have rolled out. That's what Tootsie Rolls do when left unencumbered. And my mom saw the Tootsie Roll, and she said, "Aha!" And she said, "Spit out that candy right now." And I said, and my mom squeezed my cheeks like this. And the giant candy ball blobbed out onto the carpet and rolled a little, and whatever dust was not on my costume started collecting on the grape chocolate sugar mess. And my mom looked at it with a disgusted look on her face, and I looked at it. Then I looked over there and pointed, and she said, "What?" And when she looked away, I grabbed it and put it back in my face. And my mom said, "Spit that out." And I said, "No." And she led me over to the kitchen garbage, and once again, and I said, "I wanted that candy. I earned it with my dust ball costume, and I want to eat it now." And my mom said, "You can't always get what you want. No, you can't always get what you want. No, 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 you can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, well, you might find you get what you need, and what you need is a bath. Look at you, Randy. You're covered with grape and sugar and dust and chocolate." So my mom helped me to get a bath, take a bath, and I got all the dust and chocolate and grape and sugar off of my face and my whole body. And then when I was all clean at the very end, my mom held out this big fluffy towel. She said, "Okay, Randy, it's time to dry off and put on pajamas now." And I said, "I don't want to dry off and put on pajamas. I just want to stay naked and wet." And I ran out of the bathtub, and I ran across the house, and I jumped onto the couch, and my mom said, "What are you doing? You're tracking water all over the floor." And I said, "I don't care. I'm just going to sit on the couch naked and wet and watch TV. Now turn it on." And my mom said, "You can't always get what you want." And I had to clean up all that water I trapped on the floor. "You can't always get what you want." And I had to dry off and put on feet pajamas. "You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you get what you need." That's right. You get what you need. And what you need right now, young man, my mom said, is a nice, healthful dinner. We had a lot of guests over, my aunt and my uncle, my grandma, my grandpa. We sat down to dinner. My mom had, well, I don't know if she made it or she had it catered in. I can't remember, but it was a giant bowl of steamed broccoli, steamed cauliflower, artichoke hearts, hearts of palm, carrots, cucumber, kale, corn, and another giant bowl of quinoa. And the drink, we had tall glasses of room temperature water with no ice. Something about the food congealing in our stomachs or something like that. And my mom said, "Bon appetit." My grandpa said, "Dig in." And I said, "I don't want this type of food. I only want ice cream for dinner, or all of my Halloween candy." My mom said, "Randy, we've been through this. You can't have Halloween candy for dinner. You'll get a bellyache. You gotta have dark leafy greens and whole grains so you grow up to be big and strong." And I said, "Who cares about growing up to be big and strong? I'm a creature of the moment. I live for immediate gratification, and I want my Halloween candy now." And my mom said, you can't always get what you want. And then my dad said,
You can't always get what you want.
and then my grandma said, you can't always get what you want. Grandmas don't sound quite that old anymore, do they? And my grandpa said, you can't always get what you want, Randall. And my aunt, I keep telling everyone, this is really what ants sound like on Long Island. Out here in Northern California, you have no idea what the ants sound like out in Long Island. They really do sound like this. My aunt said, you can't always get what you want. And then my uncle said, never understood a word the guy was saying. You know who was a lot more articulate than my uncle though? My dog. My dog came in wagging his tongue and sticking out his tail. He liked to do things a little differently. And my dog looked at me and he said, you get what you want. And my kitty cat came slinking in. She rubbed herself up against the chair. I reached down to pet her. I thought she was going to purr. She was not in a purring mood. She just said, you can't always get what you want. Then my duck came waddling in, tracking water behind him. No one got mad at him. He didn't have to put on pajamas or clean up the water. And my duck said, you always get what you want. Then the snake came slithering by. He slithered up onto the table. He stuck out his tongue and he said, now there are a lot of other pets involved. We brought them all in for the recording, but I don't want to recount them all now. But the strangest one of all was a goldfish in a bowl. We had a goldfish in a bowl, we did. I'm embarrassed to say. It seems kind of weird now. It was before the Free the Goldfish movement, though. We saw the goldfish's lips moving like this. And no sound was coming out, only bubbles. And when the bubbles floated to the top of the tank, they popped. And when the bubbles popped, we heard exactly what it was that the goldfish was trying to say, which was, of course, and then everyone all together said, you can't always get what you want. Sing it with me, it's a good morning affirmation. You can't always get what you want. It's kind of a negation, I know, but it counts. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometime, you might find you get what you need.